Hello, Search here for the backyard driving range. Okay, today we're going on a different note. No emails that came in or to customer service or whatever. Today I want to talk about something new, and I'm going to preface it by saying that I think all of you know that I'm always on the lookout for good things that will help Surgites play better golf, golfers in general play better golf, and I've exposed you to different, from new grips that come out on the market, and even some, I've talked about golf clubs that are really good, and a bunch of other things. The diet, the nutrition stuff I've talked about. I've introduced some things on the site. I have a director of fitness, health, and nutrition, Wayne Coolidge, that he's coming up with some products with us. He's got and fitness stuff and health and nutrition too. And so and you know, we've offered Larry Jacobs and his nutrition plan for getting fit and especially losing weight, and a bunch of other things. But anything to do with golf, I always live by one motto: I will only do and bring things that fit physics and physiology, that really work. And I think that in some cases, you know, that's part of my mission here. That's part of my job to do, because supposedly I'm the expert, and so when I find these things and they conform, I bring them to you. And I'm going to make you this. I'm going to swear to you right now. I'm going to make you, and I think you know this is true. I have a pledge. I have a commitment that I will never introduce you to anything to you that is in any way, shape, or form, whether it be another instructor having a new twist or something on putting, chipping, pitching, or even the swing or something. And as you know, you've heard Dave Seaman give some of his concepts about the things that he sees in his mind to do certain things, and that's great, because it helps you to figure out that maybe different, a little bit of twist to talking about the same thing, maybe lights the bulb in your brain that something I said or some other teacher said. So I'll only bring you things that fit and that are good, and they're going to help you to be not only better golfers, but more fit, more healthy, and all these other things. So today I'm actually going to play book reviewer. All right. Recently I've had 2 books sent to me, and the lovely part about them is they are 2 books that have been published, written and got published by 2 Surgites. Okay, and one of them is definitely involves, to a degree, some form of golf instruction. The other one is basically has a lot of golf into it, in terms of one of the characters in the book plays a lot of golf. So I'm going to start with that one. This first book is called Ike, Golf in Augusta. The author is David Sowell, S-O-W-E-L-L. The great thing about David is David lives like 2 towns over from me, like 10 miles away. So Dave and I have already met for lunch one time, and hopefully one of these days he and I are going to get together and play some golf. But he's still busy in his life, and I spend a lot of time on the road. So I mean, I think it took us almost 3 or 4 weeks just to be able to make the one meeting for lunch, and then he couldn't play golf because he had something to do. So David Sowell, the book is called Ike, I-K-E, Golf in Australia. Ike is for President Dwight D. Eisenhower. All right, it's all about President Eisenhower, this book, and it covers everything from his being elected President of the United States, and a lot of it covers, this book covers his whole 8-year term and things that went on and politically, some things behind the scenes in the White House. So this is one heck of a nice historical documentary of somewhat the inner workings and the inner life of a President of the United States, who also was one of the most avid golfers, and absolutely was #1 golfer when he was president. And he was a member of Augusta National. So it talks a lot about experiences at Augusta National, his interactions with members over there who really were played very big important parts in his running for president, getting elected president, and afterwards when he was president, how he interacted with these people, and stories about playing golf with them and things like that. And it was a very tight group, and it talks about some of his people that work for him in the White House and everything else. And so historically, it's a great historical read. I mean, he's got some facts in here that blew my mind away. So you're going to learn a lot about the presidency. You're going to learn a lot about how Ike played golf, where he played golf, how well he played golf, and how much golf meant to him. I mean, it meant so much to him. The #1 golfers in the World Golf Hall of Fame, and it was really nice. You're going to learn about his health issues that eventually led to his death, but it's a great read. David Sowell, S-O-W-E-L-L, Ike Golf in Augusta. You're going to learn a lot about Ike personally, as a general, a president. You're going to learn about his golf game, and you're going to learn a lot about Augusta National, which I think it's one of those places that holds our admiration because it's got so many kind of secrets to it, and it's like that fairy tale land over there, that fairy tale golf course. And so you find out some nice things about that too. Now the second book is a totally different book. This book again is from a Surgeite, but he's only recently found me, and I'm going to preface this by saying that he found me and he sent me 2 copies of the book to read, and one of them, he wrote a nice little personal message to me, and one time when we spoke, or I think it was in an email, he wrote me an email, and he said some nice things in the email, and we've talked once or twice. But this book is called Golf's 3 Noble Truths: The Fine Art of Playing Awake. A-W-A-K-E. I guess that's with your eyes and your mind open. And it's by James Ragonnet, R-A-G-O-N-N-E-T. James Ragonnet. Okay? And I'm going to just start off by reading in the back the paragraph that was written about the author. James Ragonnet, Ph.D., so it's Dr. Ragonnet, is an award-winning English professor at Springfield College in Springfield, Massachusetts. So that's, as you all know, that's my home state, and we've talked, and Dr. Ragonnet is an avid Red Sox fan like me, and really happy since I'm sure you all know the Red Sox won the World Series this year. For 3 decades, he has exhaustively analyzed and researched golf to discover and master what works, what doesn't, and why. Let me read that again. He's analyzed and researched golf to discover and master what works, what doesn't, and why. He also has a consulting firm that targets corporate executives and college faculty interested in enhancing their teaching, learning, and writing. Whether he's focusing on better golf, better writing, or better teaching, Ragonet's specialty is developing effective learning strategies for complex tasks. Again, I'll repeat that. His specialty is developing effective learning strategies for complex tasks. He has also taught and coached college golf. His website is www.golfs3nobletruths.com. Dr. Ragonnet. Now, basically what Dr. Ragonnet aspires to is, he says, the basic message in his book is, I can best break it down, is if you've been studying, if you love golf and you've been working at golf and you've been trying hard and you've read magazines and you've gotten videos and you've bought books and you've talked to your best friends and maybe even taken lessons and all that other stuff, and the harder you work, you're not making any progress or even getting worse. And as we all know, throw in the fact that remember, with the street is concerned, everybody's on that side of the street and we're on that side by ourselves just about. Okay? So when all that stuff on that side of the street isn't working, and eventually you reach the point where your scores aren't getting any better, if not they're getting worse, and now your neck's hurting, your back's hurting you, or whatever, and you're getting pain every time you come home from playing golf, you think you've been run over by a bus, or at least in a boxing match with a heavyweight champion of the world, and he just used you for a punching bag, and you're saying, gee, I don't know when I'm going to get to play golf again, and you finally start saying, this is getting crazy, man. I come back and I felt leaving pretty good, mentally and physically, and I come back mentally depressed and beat up, and my body's beat up. When all that's happening and you're still trying, you keep trying, and the harder you try, the worse you're not improving and maybe getting worse, maybe it's time to say, hey, there might be something wrong here, and I don't think it's me. I'm not a dork. I can chew gum and walk at the same time. I can bowl pretty good. I used to play baseball pretty good. I can shoot hoops, and I can, at the worst, hit the backboard if I don't make the shot. But golf's the only sport that's turned me into being a misfit, a nincompoop, a dork. And I said, and why? I mean, sure, we all know it's a fairly difficult sport, but it can't be that difficult. I mean, all those other sports you had to develop skill levels for it, and you kind of walked right into them and got pretty good. So what's the deal here? Could be what you're trying to do. And Dr. Ragonnet kind of uses the term, he says, maybe it's time for you to become a contrarian, to start thinking about what they're asking you to do and why they're asking you to do it and how to do it, and start being a contrarian. And when he talked to me, he said, hey, Serge, you are the ultimate contrarian. And I mean, I knew what he was saying, because I took that as a compliment. Because why? I mean, to say that Serge isn't a contrarian or at least say I'm a contrarian, that's a compliment. Because how do you think I'm standing here talking to you today and you're listening to me? Because I was a contrarian. I finally decided something's wrong. If I swing a golf club and every time I swing it sticks, I get a stab in the back over here, and it doesn't go away except in December, January, and February, when I'm not playing golf, and it comes back as soon as I stop practicing and playing. I said, hey, something's wrong with this swing. And I just took the logical route. I could swing to here with no pain. I went to there, that little bit more turn, that little longer swing, and a knife stuck in my back. I said, don't go there. You know, you all heard the joke, right? A doctor's at a party and somebody says to him, hey, doc, can I ask you a question? Sure. Well, when I lift my arm like this, it hurts. What should I do? Don't lift it. Well, the surge did just like the doctor then. I went to here, it didn't hurt. I went to there, it hurt. Don't go there anymore. And then I opened up a couple more chapters. At about the same time I started figuring that out, lo and behold, my first book was published, and into my life walks Dr. Ned Armstrong. You know that name. He's my orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, who actually called me this summer and told me that, and wished me happy anniversary. He said, do you realize that you and I have been together now for 30 years? 30 years. And Dr. Armstrong was my first guy, and I ran into Henry Rifle, who was my engineer, mathematician, all-around genius guy, who unfortunately passed away this year. But I've had some great experts to work with, and I still got plenty of them. And one of my best ones right now is Wayne Coolidge, who's my director of fitness, health, and nutrition. Because as you know, I believe the golf swing is based on physics, physiology, and this is the only swing. Peak performance is the only swing that takes both of those and marries them together. And that's ultimately why you're all here, because I chose to be the contrarian. Just to answer the questions, why am I hurting? And ultimately it made me a better ball striker, and now I don't hurt. And so Dr. Ragonette gets deep into this book and things. He studied a lot of the ancient teaching philosophies of the Buddhists and all these other folks, and how their body and mind gets melded together. So he goes into that. But it's a really cool book to read, because there's a lot of chapters. It's 200 and about 37 pages long, but all the chapters are only 2 and 3 pages. And he's got things in his book that nobody ever thought about. Like one chapter right here is acceptance. Then he's got the tea ceremony. How about that? Going on the tea. And he goes on. And he's got he's got a title, disconnection. Either, grip pressure. Oh, there we go. That's a common one. But he's got either, hyphen, or golf. And he's thought about things that, oh, here's a great one. You're going to have to get the book to find this one out, but it's a great damn chapter. The ultimate question. All right? And as soon as I read about 2 or 3 chapters, I picked up the phone, I called DJ, and naturally he didn't answer, and I left him a message. And I also texted him, I said, get this book. He now has it. I said, because this is not only, he doesn't get too much talking about swing technique and theory. He talks about all the things that we do before and after the swing that creates the swing, manages the swing, keeps the swing going, and keeps us playing golf. How to think, how to act, and how pressures and situations affect us. It's unbelievable. He's approached it from more angles I think I've thought a lot about the golf swing and a lot about the game of golf, but nowhere near to the degree that Dr. Ragonette did. I'm telling you what, this is a phenomenal read. I mean, I started reading it going to Australia. I read quite a bit on the plane ride over. You got 15 hours, and I didn't have time at all to read it during my time in Australia, and I finished reading the book on the way back on the plane. But it was a great read, and I highly recommend it. So we got Ike Golf in Augusta from David Sowell, and which is nice, good reading, historical, a lot of historical things into it, which is great, about President Eisenhower and Augusta National and the game of golf. And Golf's Three Noble Truths. You're not going to get a whole bunch of swing secrets in here, but both of these books are going to give you different analogies, but especially you get the history with David Sowell's book, Ike Golf in Augusta, and this one here is going to get you getting into your mind, into your consciousness, your subconsciousness, and all the things about asking you questions and stuff about why do we play golf, and what do we want out of golf, and what's going to make us feel better about golf, and what's going to make us enjoy golf more, and what's going to make us want to play more golf. I take care of the swing. Let Dr. Ragonette take care of answering all those questions for you and get you thinking about why golf is such a great game, not just to play golf, but for our entire life. Okay, it's a great thinking thing, and like I said, DJ's got it. He's reading it, and hopefully in about a week or so, he and I are going to get together and really start working hard with him on his swing for getting out ready for next year's tournament season. And I will be talking to him about Golf's Three Noble Truths, The Fine Art of Playing a Wake, by Dr. James Ragonette. All right, good reading. When you get this stuff, bring it to the forefront. Tell us, send it in some questions or send in some comments, because I'd like to hear what you think about this book. I'm telling you what, it's one of the most exciting books about the game, involving the game of golf from all the aspects other than the actual swing. It's phenomenal. Believe me, you'll have trouble putting either of these two books down once you start reading them. Okay? Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking with y'all again soon.